Hello, everyone. Welcome to a live Hoggs vlog, and we've got Arkotia there, Vignesh. How you going? Sam Colgan, Tucker Garg. How is everyone? Namaste to everyone in India, and hello to my American friends, Australian friends, and if you're still up in England, well, hello to you as well, and everyone else around the world, Pakistan, Nepal. I know there's a lot of followers there, Sri Lanka, but anyway. Attitude, attitude, attitude. That's what we're discussing. There are a few things with RR and RCB yesterday that I did not like. So let's roll the bumper and just take a quick look at my point. How are we going? Anyway, let's get straight into the first point. I just want to come up with Samson versus Kohli playing spin. There's something that I picked up yesterday. The commentators were on Samson's back that he throws his wicket away every now and then, and he's got to be more responsible and when he's on top of the bowling and so forth. But I don't think it's more of an attitude thing for Sanju Samson. I think it's more of a technical thing. He's trying to play the shots. He's trying to keep the run rate up. But in doing so, his technique lets him down. And just last night against spin, let's just have a quick look. I've got Virat Kohli on the right of screen and Sanju Samson on the left of screen. Look how cramped Sanju Samson is. The ball is spinning in to both players. Virat Kohli rides with it. He moves that front leg with it to open up his body so he can play it squarer. Whereas Sanju Samson, both feet are on the ground. He's cramped and he can't maneuver the ball as well. So if I'm looking at that and I'm bowling to Virat Kohli, I'm a little bit more concerned about pitching it short because he's more in control. Whereas Sanju Samson, I don't mind bowling a little bit shorter to him because I know that he's cramping up and it's going to let me get him with that leading edge, or he's stuck on the crease, beat him with the wrong and going away from him as well. So that little bit of variety. So Sanju Samson off the back foot has to correct the way that he plays and go with the ball like Virat Kohli. Okay, let's go to Bangalore's attitude. Now, yesterday they had Rajasthan Royals, I think it was 4 for 43. They had them 3 for 18 at one stage as well. I just felt the bowlers in that middle period thought it was just going to happen. They didn't expect the likes of Doob, Tawadia, as well as Parag at certain stages to take the game away like they did. They let them back in, and there were a few moments there out in the field. Siraj should have caught, I think it was Parag out in the deep off Harsha Patel. He was a little bit lethargic. He was lazy. He didn't move to the ball. And then there was no effort to stop the fall when he didn't get to the pitch of the ball. He should have saved 4, but more importantly, he should have caught it. That little bit of attitude, when you lack off in the middle of the middle periods, when you're on top of an opposition that you should beat, sometimes that creeps in with that negative attitude moving forward. So Simon Katich, Virat Kohli should just address that quickly tonight or tonight when they have a team meeting, because you don't want that creeping in, because it can sort of worry them down the track, because they're in such a dominant position right now. And they don't want that lagging when they're playing against the likes of Delhi Capitals, Mumbai Indians. All right, I just want to get on the Rajasthan Royals as well with their bubble popping. They're in a lot of trouble. I saw some of the overseas players last night with their facial expressions, and I'm not having a go. I'm not having a go at their attitude, because all these players are dominant players internationally. Sorry about that. Internationally. And they want to give 100%. But with Liam Livingstone leaving, Ben Stokes leaving, Archer not being there, they're not having a good run. And I don't know what their bio bubble setup is like. I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty safe to say, that it wouldn't be as expansive as the other teams, the likes of CSK, Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians were at a beach before the tournament just so that they could relax. So I don't think the Rajasthan Royals have that expense to make sure the players are comfortable. And last night I could just see some of the overseas players sort of having a go at some of the younger Indian players when it wasn't needed. So their performances aren't standing up for the overseas players, and then having a crack at the younger players is not a good example. And I can just see some big holes creeping in out the Rajasthan Royals, and they need to get on top of it straight away. And it does happen. You're away from home. These guys are in their hotel rooms. They can't go out. They've got no family around them. And when you're having a bad trot, a bad run as an individual and as a team, things creep in very quickly in these bio bubble environments. So Rajasthan Royals have got huge issues, and I can't see them coming off the bottom of the table this year. So Sangakkara's got his work cut out. Okay, let's get to the game today. All right. Oh, 534 with those points. Brilliant. Playing 11 for Punjab Kings 11. Okay, I've got the 11 up here, but can we get that 11 up there? I'm going to kick Ashwin out of that and Bishnoi in there. Ashwin's only got 1 wicket. He hasn't really performed this year. I'm going to keep Paran in there for one more game. He got run out last game without facing a ball. I'm going to keep Henriques in there, but I don't like it. I'd rather have Jordan in there, but they need that extra batting depth. So Punjab 11 does, for me, I'm not quite confident with them going in against the Mumbai Indians tonight. I would have liked to have Ashwin and Bishnoi go in as both spinners, as well as Allen. But the way that Huda stepped up the other night, I don't think you need that extra spinner. So Ashwin in for Bishnoi. Get him in there, please, Mr. Kumbale. Okay, I really like the youngster. Got to give the youngster a go. Let's move on to the Mumbai Indians team. Now, the big issue for the Mumbai Indians is Rohit Sharma going to take the field tonight. Remember, he didn't take the field the other day when he was fielding. He came off during that fielding session. So if he doesn't play, Kishan will go up to open the batting, and then you'll have Tiwari coming in that middle order. Now, the big talking points for tonight's game, that middle order of the Mumbai Indians against the spin of Punjab Kings 11 is going to be crucial in tonight's fixture. And the other crucial bit is the opening bowlers of the Mumbai Indians, who are potent. They've got a bit of spin in there, as well as Boomerang and Bolt. Against the opening pair or the top 3 of the Punjab Kings 11 is also crucial. Now, the Kings 11 need to be aggressive in that power play. They've got the slowest power play score on the Chennai wicket. They can't afford to do that tonight, so they've got to be more aggressive. But that's taking a big risk against the quality bowling of the Mumbai Indians, and that's the scary thing tonight. For me, what Punjab Kings have got to play on is that Mumbai Indians are going into this fixture knowing that they have to win it. If they lose against the Punjab Kings, it puts a lot of pressure on them moving forward, because there's a few teams that are really progressing well. The Delhi Capitals, CSK, as well as Delhi Capitals, CSK, RCB, which is putting pressure on them, and they're going to be hard games to win to play to get in the playoffs at the end. So this is a big game for the Mumbai Indians and Punjab Kings 11, and I've done that in 8 minutes before we get to the questions. You beauty! We're getting better, we're getting sharper, and this is the time that I enjoy on my live Hoggs vlog, getting into your questions. Let's get the first one up, please, Shubs. Shubs is working hard. He's working all night, as well as all day for me in the morning. Arun Kurana, how are you going? Is Chris Jordan better option than Meredith and Jai Richardson? I think when they move into Ahmedabad, I think they're going. Mumbai Indians are going to Delhi after this game. I think Jordan might be worth playing in front of Meredith. Depends what the wicket's is like there. If there's a little bit of pace and bounce, I'd go with Jai Richardson as well. Hopefully there's more swing for him there. But Jordan is definitely a better option, and it will give you a little bit of better batting depth. He's probably got more batting potential than those two particular players there. So, yep, Jordan won't be far off playing in this Kings 11, but he won't be there tonight out Chennai. Next question, please, Shubs. Sam Colgan, how are you going? Hope all is well over in Adelaide. He's just moved to Adelaide from Perth, this young man. How did Mumbai get more out of Hardik Pandya as a batsman? Look, I thought the last game where he took on Mishra first ball, the ball was there to hit, but the situation of the game, he probably should have just pushed the one down the ground. If he hit it for 6, yes, he would have been a hero, but on this Chennai wicket, it's been tough. It's been hard in those middle overs. You've got to take your time. You've got to get used to the conditions. So I think he might just have to pull that little bit of ego back, and it's a good ego, don't worry about that, and just get settled in, used to the wicket, because his average this year isn't that flash, and he needs to get runs on the board. So just spend a little bit more time out the crease, whether it takes an over or two, because himself, Cronell, and Pollard can make the difference up out the back end with their big hitting. And that's where Mumbai Indians are dangerous. Hardik Pandya, take a little bit more time out in the middle before you play that big aggressive stroke. Okay, next question, please. ZK or ZX King. How are you going, ZX? This is the first question that I've seen from you on Live's Hoggs Vlogs. Thanks very much for joining me. Everyone else who's new, thanks very much for joining me. Jaskaran Singh, just saw you. Kerrit S. Abhishek Maul, good to see you guys on board. Shikhar Dhawan has the orange cap. So do you think India will start opening with Dhawan? And also, if Shaw keeps performing, will he get picked in the T20 squad? I'm not quite sure about Shaw. I still think he's got a lot of vulnerabilities when it comes to international cricket, especially opening the batting, because you're going to come up against four probably quicker bowlers than what he's up against now in those particular squads, especially Australia. They'll have four out-and-out quicks that get that extra bounce and bowl out 140 plus, and I think that's where Shaw has his problems, outside off stump, playing away from his body. Shikhar Dhawan, I wrote him off after the T20s that he played this year, but again, he just keeps delivering in the IPL. Are they going to go with IPL form, or are they going to go with the youngsters that are starting to come of age right now that are pushing on Shikhar Dhawan? If Shikhar Dhawan plays in this T20 tournament this year, the World Cup, this will be his last opportunity. He's got to make sure he performs. Otherwise, he'll be out for good. The form that he's got now is just unbelievable. But the thing is, too, the wickets here are a little bit slow. They're a little bit worn out, too. And that crossbat shot that he plays, he can play quite comfortably with that slower pace off the wicket. When you've got a fresh wicket, that's where he might be vulnerable in the T20 World Cup. But look, the way he's batting at the moment, I'd give him another go, because he's made some big runs against some quality bowlers. And I just love the way he goes. So that's it for me for Shikhar Dhawan. He's in the T20 World Cup squad at the moment. Okay, move on to the next question, please. Shubs. Shabanka Bhattacharya. How are you going, mate? I haven't heard from you for a couple of days. Is Padikkal the future of Indian cricket? Last night, if he was going to perform, it was against that bowling attack. It's not quite as quick as most bowling attacks in the IPL. They bowl with a lot of variety, and I think that pace suits him. I'd like to see him being tested against the likes of Rabada, that type of pace, Boomerang, Trent Bolt, and I want to see how he performs against those type of bowlers before I make a big statement on whether he's the bee's knees of Indian future, because you've got the likes of Gill, Prithvi Shaw in front of him. Look, he's got a lot of talent, but last year, that short ball into the ribs, he was struggling with when it was a little quicker. So I want to see that improvement in that particular area against that particular pace before I make a big statement whether he's the future of Indian cricket. He's got the talent, he's got the ability, he's got the technique. It's just about facing the quicker bowlers that's a worry for me. Good question there, Shabanka. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Austin D'Cunha, how are you going, mate? Is Kohli Padikkal duo the best opening pair of this season? Who do you think are favourites for Sunday's clash, RCB and CSK? Thoughts about Kyle Jamieson and Nat Rajan ruled out of the IPL? Gee, there's a few questions here. Kohli Padikkal duo. Look, I'm liking it, but I don't think it is the best opening pair of this season. I'm really liking Shaw and Darwin from the Delhi Capitals at the moment. Padikkal, he's had one good score. Oh, there we go. Notifications, George, turn it off. He's had one good score throughout this tournament. If he starts performing, keeps those performances going, that will determine whether this pair are going to be dominant throughout the tournament. And remember, last game he made a 23, which was very vital for them when he was batting with Glenn Maxwell. But it was a slow innings. Yesterday it was with pace. And just quickly, I think Virat Kohli, I'm going to try something here. Virat Kohli. Yep, let's give him a big clap for 6,000 runs too, for the first batsman to make 6,000 runs in the IPL. So well done to Virat Kohli. Okay, what do you think of the favourites for Sunday? RCB versus CSK. I think RCB are the favourites against CSK. I just think they're playing a better brand of cricket, and I think CSK don't have that extra pace. They're a little bit like Rajasthan Royals, but they're bowling in their bowling attack, but their bowling attack is more experienced and more crafty with the variations. But I think RCB batsmen will be too good for the CSK bowling attack. And I just think the RCB bowling attack is really stepping up, and I think they've got the answers against this CSK batting lineup. So I think CSK are going to be tested. Kyle Jamieson, I think he's got the height, just the pace. I think he's about the right pace, the right height, but when he's got to bowl the variations, I think that's where he struggles a little bit, and players can really take him on there. And I still don't see a potent Yorker from Jamieson. And I think if you look at RCB last night, the Yorkers weren't potent. They couldn't execute the Yorkers. They bowled good length balls for too long with those change-ups, and that's where the Rajasthan Royals really capitalised. They need to find sharp Yorkers. Someone like Doob, Parag, they weren't really batsmen that, or even Tawadia, they weren't batsmen who really want to go for that ramp shot. They want to stand tall and play down the ground and play those horizontal bat shots. They should have tested them with the Yorker there. So Jamison's got to work on that. Nat Rajan ruled out of the IPL. This is not good news for both Sunrisers Hyderabad as well as Indian cricket as well. They would have loved him to continue that experience that he's got at the international level and bring it into the IPL and work on the things that they wanted him to work on moving forward. So for me, that's a big, big hole for Sunrisers Hyderabad, obviously. But I think that's going to put a bit of a dent in Nat Rajan's career as well, because the other bowlers that are starting to perform in this tournament, someone like a Harsha Patel, who didn't bowl well last night, he got caught in the trap of the attitude, thinking that it was just going to happen with lesser likes batsmen. I think they are going to move in front of Nat Rajan because he's not in front of the selectors' eyes. So I'm very disappointed in saying that, but Nat Rajan, he's had a good little run lately. Hopefully he gets well soon. Okay, that was that question. Questions. Rashid Chandawal, how are you? I hope I said that well. Should Dawood Malan replace Nicholas Puran in the playing 11 of Punjab Kings? Look, I'm really thinking about this. Malan, he's a slow starter. You've got Gale, that's out number 3, who's a slow starter. Rahul, he hasn't really got a high strike rate as well. Paran is very dominant against spin. He's got a high strike rate and a reasonable average against spin. He's not so efficient against pace. But tonight on Chennai, that Chennai wicket, it's going to be more prominent spin that creates those wicket-taking opportunities. With that, I'd give Paran one more opportunity tonight. I don't think you can have Dawood Malan and Gale and Rahul all in the same team, especially on this Chennai wicket. They're too slow starting. And Dawood Malan and Rahul aren't renowned for their high strike rates throughout their games. Every now and then, they get into the 150s, 160s, but they're not consistent enough for me to have those three playing in the one team all the time. Good question there, Rashid. You've really made me think about that. Tanmoy Chakraborty, how are you going again? Why Sanju Samson can't convert his potential to performance consistently? That's why he doesn't get chances in Indian team, as he scored 2 to 3 great knocks in IPL, then downslide. We talked about it a bit earlier. I think he's got the right attitude. I think he's mentally capable, but I just think it comes down to technique. And we earlier on in the video, I don't know whether you got on board in the first couple of minutes, but I had a picture of him and Virat Kohli playing spin. He was cramped up. If you've got it there quickly, Shubs, you can throw it up again. He was cramped up, wasn't there we go. See how he's cramped up on the left of screen, whereas Virat Kohli is going with the spin and working it squarer. Sanju Samson was trying to play it in the same area, but because he's cramped up, he wasn't in control, and that was the cause of the leading edge. So little technical issues like that are what is causing Sanju Samson not to convert to his potential. So for me, it's just about getting that correct technique, and that's why he hasn't played consistently for India as well. That's why he's in and out. But it's up to him to work on it. If he wants to work on it, he can. If he doesn't, well, so be it. And that's probably why Rajasthan Royals are in a lot of bother as well, because they've only really got Butler, who's the most consistent performer there. Sanju Samson's in and out, and all the other batsmen aren't consistent as well. So they're in a lot of trouble, Rajasthan Royals. Good question there, Tanmoy. Tucker Garg, how you going? How do you rate Morgan in KKR, since he is not scoring runs and many people are not happy with his tactical decisions? Well, I don't know who to blame for his technical decisions, because he gets a little bit of help on the sidelines as well as the game's going on. But Morgan, he looks out of sorts. He looks cramped. His footwork is not as decisive as what he is when he's been playing for England. He's getting cramped up on the leg side. When it's outside off stump, he's not moving his front foot towards the ball. He's playing away from his body. So it tells me that he's not watching the ball. He's not in sync. Other things are on his mind. Tactically, I don't know if you're going to get a better captain in KKR. Remember that he's done quite a good job for England, but this is IPL cricket. It's new conditions as well. So he's probably gaining a little bit of experience here on these particular wickets. I'm not very impressed with his performances at the moment. But I think with the depth and the leadership they've had in KKR, I don't think they can turn to anyone else to take the reins as captain at this present moment. But they're going to have to think about making a few decisions because they're not playing consistent cricket. And I'll go back to KKR in that. I don't think it's just Morgan. I'm looking at the other players as well. There's a few other players in there that are individuals, and I'm not going to name them because you guys will probably work them out. But I saw the other day when it was getting close, there was a couple of players that have done their performance. They were just laughing in the change rooms and weren't really focused on what their teammates were doing out there. And that is a big issue for KKR for me. It's not about Morgan's leadership. It's about certain individuals getting on the same carriage as the other players. Gee whiz, that's a news headline there, isn't it? Lucky it's at the end of the vlog and not earlier on the vlog. But thanks very much for that, Tarker. Hopefully I've answered your question well there. Next question, please, Shubs. PC Tube. How you going again? Namaste from Houston, Texas. So I hope it's all over there. You're in the black gold, the old oil industry over there in Texas. What do you personally prefer, commentator, studio analyst, or coach in IPL? Hope to see you as one of that soon. Look, I'd like to have a go at all of them, but I probably prefer studio analysis and a coach in an IPL system. The commentator, yeah, that's great. It's ball by ball stuff, but when you're actually commentating in the IPL, there's a lot of you feel like a talking billboard sometimes because you've got to make a few announcements, and sometimes you can't get to the point that you want to make out that particular scenario. And in the studio analysis, you've got more time to sit there and go, right, what piece of information can I give to the viewer that's going to give them something prominent to look forward to when they watch the game next? So for me, I think you can do more good work as a studio analyst and also a coach in the IPL. That's a good pressure question there. All right, guys. Yes, I think Mumbai Indians are going to beat the Punjab Kings tonight quite easily. I think they're used to the Chennai conditions, and I think they really need this win to get a little bit of momentum going. If they lose this, well, it just puts a little bit more extra pressure on them. But you can follow me at Brad Hogg _Hogg on both Instagram and Twitter. Namaste to everyone in India. Have a great night over there in America and a good day here in Australia and everywhere else around the world. Hope you stay safe. Thanks, guys.